the drama starts. Lap 30, 8 laps to go. Sandopi hoping to take advantage of these lapped cars. Pileski dives onto the right side. Very aggressive here. This is lap 4. The two Viceroys. Bill Frazier ahead of Matt Pileski. Frazier's off. Frazier hit the grass. You hit that tire wall, your day is done. Well, now it's lap 20. The Williams still trying to get around the Terrell team as he'll go around the lap car and around those at the same time. At the same time, he's got the inside corner. Will he ride the curb? Yes, he will. He will get him on the inside. Vito Maria leading us all into Moss's corner. Look at the beauty as his right side will cook the grass a little. A 360. Oh. Who will yield going into this corner? It's really not meant for too wide as it will be Gernald. Gernald will yield. Lots of smoke picking up from that Williams car. He is pushing it to the absolute limit. 26 of 30 now. Only 4 laps to go. He's going to get the run coming out the final corner. He's going to pull up side by side with the leader. It's going to be a drag race to the finish. Who is going to get there first? It's going to be...
For many years, Donington Park Circuit has been known as the heart of British motorsport. Since the 1930s, the track has hosted many different types of racing, from World Championship Formula 1 Touring Car, MotoGP, and Superbikes, to the British Touring Car and Truck Championships. At one point, this venue was requisitioned by the Ministry of Defense and was used as a military vehicle depot until it was purchased and reconverted back into a racing venue by Tom Wheatcroft in 1971. It was also where Ayrton Senna took the 1993 European Grand Prix win and what Atlas Formula 1 at the time described as the drive of the decade, and nearly became the permanent host to the British Grand Prix just about 1 decade ago. Today, the top drivers in the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series will make their way around this 12-turn course. The question is, who will take home the checkered flag? We're going to see here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's coverage of the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series for Round 3 of 2020's first season from the virtual Donington Park Circuit in northwest Worcestershire, England. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside me is Mick Claridge. Jed Yaman is in the director's seat, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. It's going to be an interesting race to say the very least on this 12-turn circuit, but to find the best way around here, let's take a look at your GSRC lap guide.
Alright, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC Lotus 79, so let's do a lap around Donington. Redgate is going to be an excellent passing opportunity, but the ideal line is swinging it out here to the pit exit and trying to late apex the corner. With the rapid acceleration of these machines, it doesn't take long before you're flying through the crater curves. When it veers to the left, you want to hug the car all the way to the edge of the track to give yourself the widest line possible into the old hairpin. It takes precision to nail this bend, so expect a lot of dirt to get kicked up on the exit. Under Starkey's Bridge, you'll make this climb one long arc and then once again hold left for the optimal line through McLean's. The crest and the decreasing radius make this a frustrating corner to get right. After that, it's a short blast to Coppice where the apex is going to be blind until you're right on top of the turn. There's 2 parts to this corner, and the second half opens up significantly, letting you really keep your foot in it. Now we're on Starkey Straight, and the racing line takes us drifting off to the right side of the track. The S's chicane is a tricky and quick little one, and though you can take a lot of curb, don't get too greedy or it's going to be easy to get a cut course penalty. With the Melbourne hairpin coming up, that will make it difficult to defend if you're slowing down to give time back. This slow fiddly corner works like most other hairpins. Square off your exit for a better launch. But the 79 doesn't like low speeds, so be gentle on the throttle as you get it going. Switch sides one more time, and we now have one final corner to go. There's an annoying little rise here at Goddard's that makes it tough to see where the apex is. Let the car track out to the curb, be smooth on the power once again, and you've now finished a lap around Donington.
That was a look at your GSRC lap guide to find the best way around this 2.5 mile plus circuit. Let's bring in my co-host for today, Mick Claridge. And Mick, let's talk about the track once more and take a look at the track map. What can you tell us about this tough circuit?
Yeah, hi Justin, hi everyone. Yeah, you just said it. It is a tough track. Last week we ran at Silverstone, and I called that the place was quite easy for the car to get around there. It's not the same this week. This is really tough. As you say, just under 2.5 miles there, 12 turns. We're using the GP layout today. It's just over 4 kilometers. Just looking now, the track looks, the weather looks nice. The midday race is being run today. iRacing look like they've got the weather spot on. Let's just take a look now at the Drivers' Championship, Justin.
Yes, indeed. Let's take a look at that right now, where it is Gernot Frichet up at the top of the standings. Steve Bycroft is in second, 25 points behind, with Nicola Corsaci, I should apologize, in third position. In fourth position up on the standings, it is Marco Sanfilippo with Chris Bowman rounding out the top 5 of the driver standings. 54 points, the separation between the top 5. You also have the team standings. These teams running from 1978 to 1980 in real life, but it's amongst the official races held across the iRacing service. Up at the top of their standings for the team standings, it's Scuderia Ferrari with their organization of Bycroft, Taylor, and Bell. Then you have Elf Team Terrell in second position. Pamamont Racing Team Brabham is in third, with Arrows Racing Team and Ligier Gitania is in fifth position. That's a look at the top 5 for your team and driver standings. Let's take a look at the race details, though, here, Mick.
Yeah, race details today. Looking at 32 laps today. It's round 3 of 12. Takes 3 months to get through these seasons. It seems like it goes really quick. Round 3 already. 32 laps, as I said. Nice distance for this track. It's an open setup. Everyone gets to choose their wing settings. Every other setting you can choose on the car, which is quite extensive. Just looking at the incidents. So now, if you don't know, guys, 17 incidents doesn't disqualify you now. It gives you a drive-through penalty. iRacing have adjusted that for this season. And a penalty, 25 incidents means you will get disqualified.
Yeah, big thing to note, that was a part of the iRacing's new build a few weeks ago. But drivers are currently qualified amongst the track. 19 drivers have made it into the top split. 18 are running a second split at the moment. But the man at the top of the board is a bit different compared to what we've seen earlier today. That just changed, however, as it is Gernot Frichet up at the top of the board with the fastest time in qualifying, a 1:17.147. Matt Wood is in second, Steve Bycroft in third, then you have Kachi in fourth, and then following that is Peter Korzinski in the fifth position here. But in the man in sixth spot, we should note, is Adam Blocker, the current Lionheart IndyCar champion. And this should be an interesting race today in terms of racetrack. You mentioned the difficulty here. It's a mix of long straightaways with some little elevation changes, but again, some tight technical turns where it can be difficult to enter them.
Yeah, it really is tough to get these cars around. Also, you've got to watch these really slow corners where you get all this understeer because there's no downforce on the car. It's a real mixture. You've got fast and slow here. It's going to be really interesting who can maximise everything here and the setup of the car and just literally the skill to get the car around this track.
Currently, one driver yet to record a time is Pablo Suarez at the moment, the 16 machine. He is the last car running that hasn't recorded a time. The current split, 1:17 from the top of the board, 1:19's at the bottom of the board. And again, to remind you, some of the drivers running in their own championship battle, but as well, an open series for many of the drivers. For Suarez, one of the drivers driving one of the Warnsteiner sponsored machines. It's an aero racing machine. Let's see what time this 16 machine can do. Bit of a slide coming out of the final corner, out of Goodhart's. 1:18.7, that is 15th.
Yeah, he really slid it out there wide, didn't he? Just looking at Matt Wood there, really close up the front now, isn't it?
Yeah, 1:17.232 on his second lap. And that means all the drivers recorded at least one lap. There's still about a minute or so until they take the grid. What are your keys to victory here today?
Well, you know what? We watched the race earlier, didn't we, Justin? And it really is such a technical place. You know, the first thing you got to watch out for is the cold tyres off the grid. You'll see a lot of cars. May see a lot of cars just wiggling a bit down after turn one. You just got to keep it really, really tight and clean, and then just worry about your real you know, you just got to concentrate so hard around here. You never get a respite around this place. Really tough.
Indeed. And who are some of the drivers you think we should keep an eye on? Because, of course, we see Frishon up at the top of the board with Wood and Bycroft. Who else should we keep an eye on?
Yeah, definitely keep an eye on Matt Wood. Matt Wood's got the pace today. Another guy who seems to have a lot of pace, but maybe not in qualifying, Steve Bycroft. He was all over the back of Gernot's gearbox today. I always watch out for Nicola Cocci. I like his driving style.
Indeed. As you see Suarez finish up his time, he moves up to 11th on lap number 2 with a 1:18.377. But that means one thing: everyone has recorded qualifying times. Everyone's all set to take to the grid here at Donington Park. Let's take a look at your starting grid for today. Go 10 at a time, shall we? That is Frishon up at the top of the board with a 1:17.147, followed by Matt Wood in row 1. Steve Bycroft starts in 3rd position today with Koki and Konki in 4th position. I should apologize there. Peter Kuczynski in 5th position. Adam Blocker in 6th. Marco Sanfilippo in 7th with Julian Floret, I should rather say, in 8th position. John Atkinson in 9th with Kendrick Taylor rounding out the top 10.
Pablo Suarez in 11th there. Marco Keller in 12th. Sam Doby, the regular, in 13th there. Rob Olenek, he'll drive anything, turns up in 14th place there, just ahead of Barry West in 15th. Dustin Herod, I would have expected him to be further up on the grid there, 16th place. Theo Schleret in 17th. Angelica Pawlowski, you know him as Roman, 18th. Bit out of position there, even though he's not a regular in this car. And Keith Hearn rounds out in 19th place.
That's a look at your starting grid for today as we go and get ready to go down the Wheatcroft Straight before they charge their way into Redgate. Then it's the swing through Hollywood, Craner, and Old Hairpin in the first couple turns. Going to be an interesting race today here from Donington Park here in the UK. All the drivers set to go on the grid and starting to prepare to rev up their engines. Just one more driver and then we can get things underway. It's going to become the question, who's going to be able to come away with the victory and who's going to be able to keep their cars clean. About 4 or 5 drivers in an earlier race to prepare for this main split today ended up getting wing damage that hurt their chances at victory.
Yeah, who are we waiting for now? There's someone still not on the grid, is there?
Yeah, all the drivers are now buckled up on the grid. Everyone's ready to go racing. Green lights are out. We're underway from Donington. And a great start by our pole sitter. Pre-shot off and away as drivers go side by side. In fact, 3 wide heading to the first quarter. Cars colliding. Big carnage as that collected one of the top drivers in Peter Kuczynski. As this is going to allow the top 3 to pull off and away single file.
Yeah, he's towed it. He's out.
All the drivers making their way through the first portions of the circuit over Starkey's Bridge, over the Schwantz Bridge, a curve rather I should say, through McLean's before they go to Coppet.
Nice even gaps across the whole field there, all the way down to looks like 7th or 8th place. Even further, yeah, about 5th or 6th place down the back straight they go now. How's your braking point? Everyone's just starting to get up to the temperature now with the tyres. Nicely through the chicane for everyone there in the top 6 or 7. Everyone knows the tail. There's not much happening up the front, is there?
At the moment, drivers trying to get into a rhythm. 32 laps in total for today's race. That's about 130 plus kilometers in terms of distance this afternoon. As Frishon comes off the final corner, will lead lap number 1. Matt Wood falls in the draft, while 3rd position at the moment still is Steve Bycroft. Now for these drivers, how difficult do you think it will be to try and make the pass? Because I think we have both seen while preparing for today's race, some drivers have to deal with trying to find the perfect line and perfect braking zone to make the dive.
Yeah, that's right. I think the best sort of chance is after you come out of the last chicane, get down to the right-hander. There's a good opportunity into the right-hander, and then there's another opportunity back onto the front straight again onto the left through that left-hander. Both slow corners, so yeah, nice sort of place to, as you say, put the dive in there. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough here. Look, just watching Gernot now. He's even pulling a gap on Matt there now.
Yeah, this sector 2 to run right up to here. He's the best out of what we've seen because Wood's having to get off the gas. It's nearly full throttle from Prix and company in that section. But while we get the chance, currently one of the teammates to Matt Wood, remember, was involved in that lap 1 incident. Let's see if we can take a look at that replay here. This was in the first run through Redgate on lap number 1 off the start here. Mick, talk us through this incident.
Yeah, I'm just watching it now. I'm just watching. Oh, it just all got really tight there, didn't it, for poor Peter there? He ended up having he T-boned the other car there. Yeah, that's such an annoying. It's really tough for him, that is.
Take a look on board. This is one of your top points leaders in San Filippo. He gets severe front end damage on the left side of the wing. He is currently running in 16th position, though, in part because of that incident. We also have Barry West that has pulled himself into the garage area, we should know, into the pits with a blown engine in the 15 machine. He was amongst the drivers in the top half of the field before blowing an engine on the gear shift.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's the only time you blow an engine in these cars is when you downshift too early. It's really easy to do. Done it a lot of times myself in all sorts of cars on iRacing. Oh, there's a big crash on the back straight.
Some trouble for, it looks like, yes indeed, it's Roman Pawlowski. Misses the final corners as the back wing and the front wing both have damage here. You've seen this. This involved the night machine. Wow, that is the second incident in about a couple laps for San Filippo. Mick, your thoughts?
Yeah, just watching it now. Yeah, it looked like it's hard to tell whether Roman broke early there or Filipino, or missed his braking spot. But yeah, that was a terrible crash, wasn't it? It looks like Roman's out. Just a cross wires there of braking points.
Oh, trouble for 4th position. It is Koki who is spun around in the run, heading towards McLean's, it appears. The number 6 machine got loose on corner exit as he clipped the dirt with the left side tires, went around the whole back straightaway and lost a couple positions.
Yeah, just 2 left tires on the dirt there, wasn't it, Justin? What a nightmare.
Yeah,
just tries to gather it up afterwards and just spins it.
He only lost 1 position, though, in all of that. Adam Blocker was able to make the pass, but here's the thing. If he doesn't keep up with Blocker here, or those tires are a little bit too angry on corner exit, there is 6th on back that has become a train of drivers. 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, all in amongst the slipstream train.
Just watching there as we see Gernot Frisch just got the fastest lap of the race already. Just looking at Nicola's car there, just wanted to see if there's any damage. It doesn't look like he's got too much damage. Can't see anything on the bodywork. Wings are nice and straight, so he'll carry on and he'll be fighting again.
Indeed, Pawlowski, we should know, just made his way to the pit lane once more. As you still follow along now with the battles amongst the racetrack. This is the battle for 4th, making the battle now up for 6th position. That is currently shaping up. A bit of a check from Kendrick Taylor, but John Atkinson Jr. is on the chase. While Florette trying to pull away the French driver, using a bit of the higher line that time by coming out of Coppice to set himself up for the Starkey Straight.
And just to know, I'm looking at Suarez's front wing there. He's got a little bit of wing damage on the back of this battle. So you'll have to get used to the difference in the handling of the car now. Maybe maybe a little bit more understeer on the front end.
Battle for 4th position shaping up. Adam Blocker, the current Lionheart IndyCar champion, falls back to the 5th position as the 6th machine looks to waltz his way back up towards the front of the group. Remember, that's the car who just spun around just a couple laps ago. He's already back up to 4th. Here is how he did the pass. You can see a bit of a mistake by Blocker, sets up the run down the straightaway.
Yeah, it all happened on the way into the chicane there, didn't it? It was a little bit hot going into the chicane, and it just threw him out wide on the edge of that. Nicola Kochi was back to be able to get that position back.
It's still about 4 seconds, though, from the next drivers for the lead. There is a battle shaping up for second position. It's been for a couple laps now. Wood and Bycroft. Bycroft has constantly been able to keep himself in range of Matt Wood. The thing is, it's the chicane, this S run. This is turns 9 and 10 specifically. Getting to the brakes a little bit harder in a later break. Not as quick off for Bycroft compared to Wood or for Shaw.
Yeah, all of them nicely through there, wasn't they? Just one thing to note, Steve was having trouble with the cloudy weather in the last race for various reasons. Just being interesting to see now if we're going to have anything like that today. Really nice onto the front straight there, so I just quieting down there. I just wanted to see their entry and exit. They look very matched, don't they? Very matched, the three guys now in front.
Indeed here. As you still follow along with the positions here. Fastest laps are being set amongst the slipstreams, mind you, too, so there's a lot of pace to be had here. The fastest lap being set by the leader, though, a 1:17.723, who has been able to break the toe. That is for Shaw.
Yeah, just watching Steve now myself. Got a bit of a run on Matt here. He's closed this battle up now, Justin. He was really nice through the fast right-hander under the bridge. Oh, but Matt's run really wide now onto the back straight. Steve's going to be smelling some blood here, I think, soon.
You can see that at the back wing from the second place machine. You can see Wood trying to play defense at the moment. Right now, that elf sponsor machine, still no wing damage to be seen. Coming to the end of lap number 7 here. But Bycroft continuing to try and reel him in as hard as he can here. What are the best passing zones in your opinion here to try and get the move done? Because it looks like Bycroft is a little bit quicker at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like he's better on the brakes into the slow corners there. Just watched both hairpins and he does seem to be really strong compared to Matt on the brakes. Really strong into turn 1 as well on the brakes now. Matt Wood is doing nothing but watching his mirror. I can tell you that from experience. So yeah, Matt's got a battle on his hands today. It's a real pressure situation now for Matt. Just got to keep looking forward, elbows out, and he's really well. The gaps open up now as they go through the right-hander, the fast right-hander now. Didn't look like Steve made a mistake. I think Matt just nailed it.
Yeah, it looks like in Sector 3, Matt's been able to gain a little bit of distance, or should I say Sector 2. But once it gets to Sector 3, it seems to flip-flop a little bit. Bycroft's been getting better and better as this race has progressed. You can see the times up on your screen, as well in terms of the difference the past couple laps. You can see there is a bit of shift between the drivers here and there each time. And it really, I think, depends again on the run through the S's, because that's where a lot of the time can be gained or lost if you get inside somebody's slipstream.
I'm just watching from Steve's car. I'm just watching Matt. This is going to be a really good lap from Matt. He's really sorted his stuff out for this lap. I'm even expected maybe a fastest lap here, but no, just not quite. But yeah, really opened the gap up now. Down into turn 1, Steve runs a little bit wide down into turn 1. Down the hill they go now. Up through the gears. This is totally flat out in this car. There's no problem with this car taking this flat out. Just a brake now, down in 2 gears, maybe third gear into the right-hander. Both through there nicely. Under the bridge where Mansell crashed. If you ever seen that. If you haven't, go and have a look.
P6, meanwhile, is shaping up a little bit. Or was, as John Atkinson Jr. running a little bit too wide that time on the run of the old hairpin. That's a crucial corner. It's set up essentially through Hollywood and Craner, where you need to hit the marks just right to get the same amount of speed you need to have to keep up with your competitor, if not pass. It was talked about actually by Driver 61 in terms of a track guide here, where you needed to hit those exact marks. If you did, you can lose so much time. And Atkinson Jr. hitting the marks perfect that time of the S's.
Yeah, I was just watching Atkinson there. Every entry seems to be really running on blue and white curbs on the entries. But look how close he's got into the braking zone there. Be interested to see now how they get onto the front straight. Julian's going to be watching his mirror as they go into the last corner. A little bit wide on the apex, just gets an apex on the edge there. Both out onto the curbs. Across the start-finish line they go. Now how's your braking into turn 1? Both down into second gear. 475 horsepower out on these huge rear slick tyres, foot to the floor all the way down the hill. Watching the mirrors, Julian. You'll be watching the mirrors here, Justin.
And you got to remember, these cars are heavy on fuel. The more they run, the more fuel they burn. The more fuel you burn, the more weight is going to be off the car. And the more weight that's off the car, the more the forces of the car can shift around as this race progresses. So it could be interesting who's going to be able to manage those changes a little bit as the force levels change, and how the balance of the car changes, or who ends up falling off. As we're going to take a look towards Bycroft, because he is off in the sand trap, off the S's of 9 and 10. Ended up getting a bit loose on the entry. That is one of his weak spots. That time, just clipped a little bit of the grass on the entry.
Oh yeah, and he bounced across the curb on the entry, and this car just really doesn't like it when it gets upset and bounces like that. And there's nothing you can do half the time. You know, Steve's no slouch, as we know, and he's been around a long time. You know, he knows how to handle this car. You know, if the car's going to spin or go out like that, you know, if it happens to him, it could happen to anyone. And he lost the spot to Adam Blocker there.
You've seen it with the left front tire on top of going over the curbs. Clipped a little bit of grass, actually. Got a little bit towards the dirt as well, and that dropped him back into a battle now for 4th position. That allowed Wood to keep 2nd, allowed Koke into 3rd position, and Blocker trying to play defense once more. His pace, the 119.2s. The thing is, though, for Bycroft, he does have a little bit of left front wing damage. These cars can develop that as the race progresses, as we've seen if you run the curves a little bit aggressively. Compared to Bycroft, he's got some. Battles are taking place up on your screen, though, where Atkinson has some on his left front, along with Suarez. Suarez, the biggest mover of the race so far, one of the biggest movers, at +2, is trying to fight for this position.
Yeah, I have to say, really impressed with both these guys. They're really hitting their marks. That's whoa! As though we say that, he just sails straight through the apex. Loses a position to Marco Keller there now.
Should note that Taylor got by Atkinson this past lap, nearly got loose coming out of Goodhart's, but Atkinson Jr. holds on to his position. A lost spot, though, that time for Suarez. And Suarez is a little aggressive, it seems, on the brakes, and has been getting a bit loose in recent laps. About a few laps ago, when he was still holding on to 9th position, he had bobbled around in the 16 machine and nearly went wide off towards the grass in Goodhart's. Now he's in 10th position behind the Marco Kella in his machine.
Yeah, just need to gather it up now. They've all got a similar pace, haven't they, Justin? This looks like it's going to be a nice battle in a few laps' time. I can see Suarez catching up with these guys.
And they're also slowly starting to reel back in the 7 a little bit. Kendrick Taylor trying to keep up on the draft. Remember, Atkinson Jr. now the lead car technically in the slipstream train. And follow along here as you see drivers like Rob Olenek amongst them. And then you have your overall biggest mover in Dustin Heroder. He is +5, make it +4 now in the race, losing a spot this time to Rob. He is continuing to move up. He was one of the drivers who started near the rear of the grid with a 1:18.807 in qualifying. He's got only about a few tenths of a second fall off from his Q pace.
Yeah, Rob's a guy who he could turn up in anything and be on pace with the guys, and he'll do it quickly as well. You know, Rob doesn't need much practice in any car to get up to speed. I'm always impressed by Rob. Rob's a good friend. I know him from the Lotus 49. He's in pace in that car as well. So interesting to watch how he, you know, just spreads his talents across all these cars. You'll see him in the Nissan GTP and the GTO Audi as well. Rob does it all.
Yeah, he's such a talented driver in the various different cars. Trouble for 9th position. Kella has just spun around, hit the tires. Lost it off the corner, that time out of McLean's, and sent it hard to the right side of the racetrack. Take a look at this, and watch as nearly half the car went in the dirt for a good sec.
Yeah, he just put his foot down, didn't he? The car was going straight through the dirt, and he just thought, right, I can carry on. And that was the end of it. Yeah, it's such an easy thing to do, Justin. It's so easy to do that in this car.
Yeah, and now he's got to deal with a lot of back wing damage, and that's not a good thing, potentially, especially with this car, so that could potentially hurt him on this run. Should note that P4 has changed spots. Bycroft just past Blocker in the run through Red Gate. This time by, this was as we were showing that replay, he was able to get the run, and Blocker lets him go on the inside after the dive.
Yeah, just watching that myself. As they come out onto the front straight, I think he let him through there, didn't he?
I think he might have known that he got into a bit of trouble and knows the pace difference. It was about a 0.6 of a second difference last time by in terms of lap time.
Yeah, and I'm sure Adam Blocker will be trying to keep with him. Everyone knows how fast Steve is in this car. Be interesting for Adam to see if he can keep up with Steve there for the rest of the race.
Yeah, again, and Adam has been keeping the car relatively calm and clean. That blue machine has just been cruising for what has been in fifth most of the race. Meanwhile, one driver that is cruising up at the front, we should note, it is Sean currently leading now by 4.6 seconds. Another purple lap time as the fuel burns a 1:17.5. That driver is in smile mode. P9 is in the middle of battle mode because Suarez wants to get his spot back, can't get the run that time through Red Gate.
Yeah, interesting to know. I didn't say anything about this side of Rob, but Rob, with my experience with Rob, he's one of the toughest guys to get past. He'll defend anything. And he always does it clean, he always does it fair, but I think Suarez is going to find out how hard Rob is as a racer.
As a racer yourself, what do you feel is the best way for a driver to get by Rob as a bit of a scouting report?
Oh, Justin is tough, mate. You know, that's just what I'm saying. Rob is he doesn't muck about, you know, he knows where to put the car. He knows how to defend. I've even seen him come off brake, you know, the brakes in braking zones to hold positions. He does it like a real pro. Really impressed with Rob, the way he defends. I really want this battle to happen, to be honest with you. I'm itching to see this.
Question is, could Suarez get back towards him? He's lost about 4 or 5 car lengths this lap in sectors 2 and 3. Lost touch a little bit. P7 has seen Taylor getting some touch as more drivers having a bit of trouble.
Oh, he got hit.
Yes, you can see this up on your screen now. As you can see, a bit of trouble up on your screen.
Oh, it looked like a bit of netcode to me there. There was a bit of a gap between the two cars. It's always going to happen on the internet. So, yeah, I can't put any blame on anyone there.
That is Sam Dolby who went around. But the thing is, the tires were lifted off the ground. His right side tires nearly flipped over the car. That was with Theo Chirolette, one of the John Player special machines. And it looks like that 18 machine escaped without significant damage. Dolby, despite nearly flipping, has a bit of scrapes on both of the front wings here that could affect a bit of the straight line speed as this race goes on, potentially.
Yeah, those ATS machines are pretty strong, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. As these drivers continue to shape out, one battle to keep an eye on still might be around P7. Let's head towards there because Taylor's been struggling in the last quarter, nearly got dived on as Atkinson seen the window open but shut nearly on his fingers. Taylor's taken that, it looks like a lot of these corners wide for about the past lap and a half. He might be struggling a little bit here as the fuel starts to burn.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, could it be in the balance in the setup or even tyre pressures? Tyres maybe getting a bit hot on the front of the car there. But yeah, I noticed that as well. He has been, especially in turn 1, he ran really wide there, didn't he?
Yeah, you can see the back end is actually sliding around a lot as well for Taylor. And he had nearly reeled in P6. Then the slipping and sliding started. Atkinson Jr. just waiting for the right moment in the Renault machine. That is the yellow card that is trying to reel in Taylor, the American in the red and white machine. Getting an even run that time with Atkinson Jr. Will Atkinson Jr. try and go for the dive? A bit of grass clip that time from the P7 machine, as now he's in the battle for P6 as well.
Yeah, he was a little bit all over the place in that braking zone, wasn't he, Justin? He takes a tight lock, but he's missed the apex by miles. Oh, he's taking a late apex. He's just about got away with that. So down the front straight they go now, and the gap's still the same, isn't it?
Yeah, it is currently about even between these cars, about 2 car lengths apiece. They're running the 118s and 119s, and Rob Olenek is railing them in nice and slowly. The more they scrape, and the more they scrap rather, the more chances we might see a 4-car battle break its way through. But there's still a ways to go, coming to 14 laps to go. Already coming towards lap 19 at the conclusion of this circuit. As Taylor has a bad run, Atkinson Jr. a worse run.
Just watching him on the back straight now as they hit the back straight. Let's just have a look at Taylor. It's how good he is on the brakes into the chicane. Florette down, hit the brakes hard as you can, down to 3rd gear. Nice entry from Florette there. Taylor's not able to catch up at all there. Atkinson Jr. about the same. They're all even, these guys. A tight line into the hairpin now for Taylor there.
It seems like he's wanting to hit that, try and take away the line from the 7. But this is where it gets interesting. He takes this early entry line that forces him wide on the apex and then a tight apex exit off. It's just, what are your thoughts in terms of that line, in terms of how effective that can be? Because it doesn't seem to be working.
No, it's really interesting, that line, isn't it? Through those slow corners, it's almost like he's scrubbing the car off the across the apex there, and maybe trying to get a bit more heat into the tyres. I'm just a bit puzzled by that, but he's right up there with him now.
Or he's playing defense on Atkinson Jr. because every time Atkinson Jr. gets a bit of a run, he has to let off the gas to make sure he doesn't hit the back wing. An interesting scenario in this battle for position as Taylor keeps within range. A bit of a better run. No. And he makes contact with Atkinson Jr. And that time swung a little bit too hard to the right as he tried to make the run to the corner.
Well, that just tells me one thing, Justin. Taylor was really on it there, trying to push to catch Florette. He was really on it there, really going for it on the limit of the car there.
It almost sounds like, with the audio, that he might have tried to downshift there in the midst of the corner and just too much speed carried. That, unfortunately, collects John Atkinson Jr. with significant damage to the left front and puts him in the pit lane. Bad luck for John Atkinson Jr.
Yeah, just watching who's gained out of this. Robbo's right up with Taylor now as they start the new lap.
So all of a sudden, what was about a 10-car length distance for Rob Olenek to work through, with the +6 advantage for him, he looks to make it a +7. 1 car in trouble behind them. Suarez hit the grass. He's off nearly towards the sand trap. Ended up having a bad run that time, it looked like, through Hollywood towards the Craner curves. Now working his way through the old hairpin, losing a lot more time, all the way back to P number 10 for that battle.
Yeah, just a bit hot through the right-hander there. He did well to not spin the car on the grass there. So, yeah, he's able to carry on. Not sure if he's got any damage. I don't think he damaged the front wing there by jumping over the grass like that. But yeah, good to see that he able to carry on there and didn't spin.
Should note that P6 has been reeled in quickly. He had a mistake this lap. Taylor just opened up the door for Rob Olenek heading through the Melbourne hairpin. That opened up the position for P number 7. As you see these drivers now line up, Rob wants a +8 on the race now. He's got a chance to reel in Florette after he lost 3 seconds this lap with a mistake.
It's going to be really interesting to see now if Rob can do anything about Florette in front of him. Yeah, it looked like Taylor just ran across, scrubbed across the track there again, didn't it, in the hairpin?
Yeah, and you almost wonder at this point if Again, can he hold on to the race car here in this mix of a battle? Keep an eye, though, on P number 7. Again, that is Rob Olenek. He is still trying to work his way slowly up the corner through McLean's, heading to Coppice. This is working its way back once again to the Starkey Straight before they reach the S's in the Melbourne Hairpin for the second half of this racetrack as Rob gets in the slipstream.
Yeah, just to note, Kenny Taylor behind there, he lost the rear on the car there. Hit the grass, didn't hit the barrier like the guy earlier. Sorry, I forget who he was, but yeah, Rob taking a wide line now around the outside now. Oh, they touch. Is he going to go for the over-under now? And he's got a nice first gear now. He's going to get this position.
A bit of a bobble that time as P number 6 has swapped positions. Florette now with a bit of left front wing damage, a bit of right front for Rob Olenek in the British Air Ferry sponsored machine. So he is up to 6th position. One thing to note, remember Steve Bycroft made that mistake. He has fallen to 4th position. Remember, had fallen back to 5th originally. But he is slowly but surely gaining on 3rd. And now he is definitely gaining because a bit of a bobble from P3 that time by as he went off into the dirt. Bit of a close call this lap here, Mick.
Yeah, that was a nice save, wasn't it? I'm impressed with that.
Yeah, it was near trouble, but now that means one thing. Steve Bycroft, who was gaining only a few tenths a lap, has closed quickly into the slipstream, so all of a sudden, a podium spot is up for grabs.
Yeah, and Steve will want that 3rd spot, won't he?
Yeah, especially after being in the range of Matt Wood for the battle for 2nd. Slide from the 6th machine as the Paralot machine comes across the stripe. How much time did he lose to be precise? Grand total of 2 seconds lost on that lap with the trouble for Koki.
Yeah, a couple of mistakes, wasn't it? Really, car washing all over the place there in the final turn. Just watching him down the hill now there. Turn right. Oh, Nicholas, quite nice through there as it goes. He's a little bit wide on the exit, but that won't hurt him. Over that curb on the left, up through the gears. Still full power now until you hit the brakes here into the right-hander. Steve's nice and quick through there. Just watching the car just wiggle a little bit, but that's all just due to the power. Onto the back straight they go.
Coming to 9 laps to go this time by on the circuit. Currently the distance amongst these drivers 1 second exact. Keep an eye once again as Bycroft sends it hard into the S's, trying to close up the gap as hard as he can. That time lost himself about half a tenth that time through the run. Remember, in 1st is Freeshaw, 2nd is Matt Wood. They're separated by 8 seconds. That is 10 seconds up the road for the battle we've been keeping up with on your screen for P3. It's been a dominant run for Gernot Freeshaw, where he has just dominated along with Matt Wood. Both of these drivers have been calm, cool, and collected all race long here today.
Yeah, we haven't seen much of the guys up front, have we? Yeah, textbook. Absolutely brilliant drive by the 2 guys up front there. No messing about. I was just interested to see how Julian Ferret was catching up with Rob there on that last lap, but it seems Rob's been able to pull a gap now. Julian Ferret with an 18.9, Rob Olenek with an 18.6, so he pulled 3 tenths on him there through that lap.
That is still about 3 tenths off the pace of Adam Blockers in P5, but a stellar run for that number 5 machine, the orange Rob Olenek. As the leaders continue to pull away and dominate, you keep up now with that 6th position. Again, it's been a stellar drive. He has cut his way through the field, avoided all the attrition, and is a +8 on the race from the drop of the green flag. Remember, he qualified in 14th position. That was in the midst of the Hornet's Nest.
Yeah, really great drive from Rob. He's had a good weekend. He won the Lotus 49 race yesterday. Did pretty well in the Nissan GTP race, and yeah, up in 6th place now in Lotus 79. This is what I'm saying about Rob. He can just turn up and do the business, you know, doesn't muck about.
Nearly had a bit of a lockup that time to the apex of the Melbourne Hairpin, but he's been one of the bigger movers today, has been up there in the pace as well. Let's see what the lap time comparison is in this grouping compared to the leaders. The leaders are in the 1:17.7 of 8s. These drivers right now are in the 1:18.7s And really, when it comes to lap times in terms of pace as well, it comes down to confidence, I think is really what's been described. What are your thoughts in terms of that argument of, is it skill or is it confidence or is it a mix of both?
Yeah, it's definitely a mix of both. I really struggle in this car, Justin. I've really got no idea how the guys drive this so fast. I'd be top 10, just outside at best, you know, if I've spent a lot of time in this car. So yeah, it's really just seat time as well. I'm just sitting, just watching Steve Bycroft now. He's slowly catching up with Nicola Cocchi for this third position. It looks like there's plenty of laps left as well. This is going to be on.
Yeah, 7 laps to go for them this time by. Separate now by just about 2 to 3 car lanes heading towards the start and finish line. Steve Bycroft on the chase. And again, it's Cocchi on the pole way. A 1:18.387. A 1:18.2 last time by for Bycroft. So Bycroft, can he try and get the pass done is going to be the main question as the clouds start coming up over the racetrack.
Be interesting to see now Nicola Cocchi's defence. It's going to happen. There's no question about it. Steve's going to get a chance at this. It's going to be really interesting to see how Nicola Cocchi puts up with this pressure. I know him from the Lotus 49. He's a top driver. Nicola Cocchi, good defence on him. Italian blood. Oh, Steve was really wide there going onto the back straight, but he probably lifted there just to keep the car under him. Down into the chicane they go now again, third gear, and Steve's caught up a lot more now. Nice exit though from Nicola as they come down to the hairpin, the right-hander. Down into first gear, no grip on the car whatsoever in this corner. Wide line from Nicola there. Down they go to the last turn. Let's see how your braking is. Both nicely into the apex there. He's going to hold on for another lap, I think.
Yeah, I think so, at least for the time being. Bycroft tried to use a bit of the slippage on the track to his advantage. Worked in Melbourne hairpin, not so much in Goddard's. That time, they worked their way through Hollywood. The acceleration zone for the Craner curbs. Try and get parallel to that white line is what they're trying to do. Bycroft taking a bit of a different line, though, heading towards the old hairpin and back to the Starkeys Bridge. This leads them to the Schwantz curve before they head off to McLean's. Bycroft with a good run in Sector 2.
Yeah, just checking Steve's the front of Steve's car there. It does look a bit damaged, doesn't it? Just wondering if that's slightly holding him up against his fight.
And that's something that can happen with the curbing here, especially with the Lotus 79s, because it's a low ride height with these. And you can also potentially hit the bottom floor on the race car with the ground effect that's on these machines. That can affect a bit of the speed on the race car in terms of the straight lines. He's been trying to counter-react that, it seems, with the braking zones, as he still tries to find a way to reel in the Alfa Romeo powered machine in front of him.
Yeah, pretty impressed with Nicola Cocchi's defence here. He'll be watching that mirror. He knows Steve's a fast guy. Steve's one of the fastest in this car, period. And Nicola knows that, you know. Both down into turn 1. Nice line for both drivers through turn 1 now. Down the hill they go again. How's your luck going through this right hand? This is such a tough corner in this car, this right-hander coming up now. Steve takes a nice tight line into there, doesn't he?
A bit of a slipperier line from Nicola that time. They were about dead even, though, in terms of the pace. But you can see how big of a difference is that smoother line was for the next corners, though. Bycroft able to gain a little bit more speed. Should note the track temp has stayed at a solid 87 degrees Fahrenheit as this battle has progressed. And a slowdown as huge near checkup and near collision. Bycroft moves up to third.
Yeah, Nicola took a massive chunk of curb on the right-hander down to the back straight, and yeah, that's all that happened. Slow down there. For those that don't know, if you do that, you get a slowdown penalty. You get a horrible timer come up on your screen, and you have to slow down to clear it. So that's what happened there to Nicola. That's a shame that the battle was resolved like that, wasn't it?
I don't know if it's done yet, though. There's still 4 laps to go to try and fight it back, and I think if you're Nicola, you try and get that position as hard as you can. He tried to dive it hard that time by through Goddard's as he goes down the Wheatcroft straight now.
Yeah, he did the right thing on the slowdown as well. They're quite tricky to clear and do it correctly, you know. you want to get off the power, you want to get on the brakes and clear it as quick as you can, so you can just get back on the car again as quick as possible. And that's what he's done. Be interesting to see now. Yeah, I agree with you, Justin. Nicola's going to want that position back.
Question is, can he keep up the pace? It was a 1:28.48 with the slowdown for the man on the chase. The man on the pole way a 1:19.610. You see that those times on the bottom side of your screen. Coming to 3 laps to go this time by here. Thing is, though, it's been a bit of a better run for Mycroft through some of the quarter chicanes, and it's been a great run for your race leader in Prix. He has just absolutely put on a clinic today. He has constantly put up the fastest laps on the track and in the entire race.
Yeah, as you can't fault the guy. He's been like that the whole season, hasn't he? Really, from the first race. So yeah. I mean, it's really going to be tough for the guys to do anything about this guy. I mean, he's just unbelievable in this car.
Indeed, he earned 206 points in the first round, then 223 in the second round. A decent points haul, to say the very least. That is amongst the official iRacing points totals. Wood is the man still in second. He has to deal with a bit of lap traffic, actually. Keith Herner is the only driver 1 lap down the circuit. He will have to deal with that machine at the moment, the 19 machine. Calmly in 13th position. He's a +6, though, from the drop of the green flag. He started in last.
Yeah, did really well there. Yeah, just say there's to be in this top split of this race, you got to have some serious talent. So I don't think anyone's going to really be getting anyone's way in regards of causing battles. All these guys are top drivers. They're top drivers in the series.
Second biggest mover of the race, and Roeder is still holding on at the moment, with Kella trying to move back inside the top 10. Remember, that is the machine who has back wing damage with that denim writing. If you look at the back wing of the 10 machine, you'll see it very crumpled up. You see, though, he trying to counter-react that and try and battle with somebody who's got a touch bit of right front wing damage on his car. Dives it hard, tries to get the top 10, cuts off the apex. The switchback, though, from Heroder can't get it back. And P10 swaps positions, coming to 2 to go.
Well, that's how you do that. Wow. What a move. Even with the damage on the car, just to be able to hustle it like that through a braking zone. Yeah, fair play to him. Dustin had nothing from there, didn't he? Be really interesting to see how if Dustin can hold on now. We've only got 1 more lap to go, haven't we?
Coming to the white flag in that fact, as Prishaw coming towards that mark. He is led from green flag to white flag and looks to secure the victory here today. Again, a dominating run for the John Player Special Machine, and another purple lap for good measure with a 1:17.2543. He's been just the fastest driver on the track all race long. No mistakes, no damage at all on the Valvoline and Olympus sponsored machine.
Just back to Dustin Roden and Keller battle. Keller just went really wide onto the back straight. It's allowed Dustin to catch slightly back up to him. Maybe Dustin was a little bit slow onto the back straight there, because it's not as much as I thought he'd catch him, because yeah, Keller was really out of shape onto the back straight.
Remember, there's the back wing damage on that machine that could be mishandling that car. They're getting the white flag right now at the tail, towards the tail end of the lead lap. But the man that is the one who is leading the race, a good 57 seconds in front of that battle, is Frichon. He'll make his way off the final corner, off of Goddard's. The number 1 machine is number 1 at Donington Park. It is Gernot Frichon who wins at Donington Park's Grand Prix circuit.
Unbelievable drive from going up there. Matt Wood come around the last corner there. He'll be happy with second. Not able to do anything with going up today. Going up was just too fast for him. Well done, Matt.
Steve Mycroft coming across the stripe, this time for third. Karki finishing in fourth. Adam Blocker having a calm but cool day in the fifth position. Bravo Lennox, the biggest mover, coming across the final corner in sixth. Julian Florette in seventh. Kendrick Taylor having some slips and slides, including the final corner for P8, with Suarez holding on to P number 9 as the battle for 10th sees one last dive from Heroder. Can't get to the rear end as Kellogg comes across with a top 10. Heroder 11th. Last driver on the lead lap is Charette. With that, let's go to your commercial break for racing action. An exciting one here from Donington Park Racing Circuit. You're watching the Global SimRacing Channel for the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series. Welcome back, everyone, to the Donington Park Racing Circuit and the Grand Prix layout in what was an exciting one today for the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series. Let's take a look at your unofficial race results once again, as Gernot Frishaw came home with the victory with constant purple laps and a near 12-second victory over Matt Wood. Steve Bycroft finished in third position, with Nikola Kotke in the fourth spot. Adam Blocker finished in fifth, Rob Olenek in sixth, with Julian Florent in seventh. Kendrick Taylor went from 10th to 8th, while Suarez went from 11th to 9th. While Kella, with the back wing damage, still held on to a top 10 finish today, Mick.
Yeah, Dustin Heroder finishes there in 11th. Started 16th, so not as bad as I thought it was going to be for him. Theo Lorette finishes in 12th. Keith Herner in 13th. John Atkinson Jr., what a battle he was in today, 14th. Sam Doby, we saw a bit of him today. And then you got your non-finishers, I think, with Angelo Roman Pawlowski in 16th there. Marco Sanfilippo, 17th. Barry West, blown engine in 18th. And Peter, first lap, first corner incidents, 19th place there. Really bad result for Peter there.
Let's talk to our race winner in victory lane as Free Shock joins us here in the broadcast booth. Gernot, do you have a copy?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hi, Justin.
Thank you very much. How do you feel after such a dominating performance, a perfect run where you had constant purple to lap time?
It seems like this one was a really good week for me. Didn't really expect it because I didn't have that much practice. But yeah, seems like my pace was really good, and yeah, I fully exploited it. Took pole position, which was key, and then did a pretty solid race.
How difficult is it, in your opinion, to try and get your right marks and pull away such as the pace you have? Because we've seen you dominate today, as well in this race, as well as in some of the earlier events in the day. How hard is it to try and hit those marks consistently at a track such as this?
I think it depends on how much risk you're willing to take, because there are some blind corners which are always difficult to get right. But yeah, if you leave a little bit room of for error, it makes sense, especially during the race. So my tactics was to push in the beginning to try to open up a gap, and then push again in the end of the race, and worked out pretty well.
It definitely did today, but the next race, or the next week rather, is going to be at Sebring International Raceway's International Circuit. Your thoughts on Sebring?
It's a track that I really like because it's so different than the others. Especially with this car, with all the bumps, you really have to go for it. And it's really fun to drive, and also makes up for good racing, because there are quite some overtaking possibilities in contrast to Donington. So it should be a good week.
It should definitely be a good week and an interesting race, definitely. Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Thank you guys for the great quality broadcasts all season long, and congrats to Matt and Steve as well.
Sorry, Justin, just before you go, Gernot, can I just ask a question?
Sure, hi Mick.
Yeah, I think you know what's coming. Week one, the hot topic was, how the hell do we say your first name? And how do you say your second name?
It's Fritzsche.
Fritzsche. Right, we've got it. Okay, go. Thank you.
You're welcome. Fritzsche, so with an E and A in the end.
Right.
That was your race winner today. Thank you very much. And Gernot Fritzsche today. Your third place finisher is standing by with me.
Hi, Steve. How you doing?
How's it going, guys?
Yeah, good, man. Just talk us about that race. That was a race of it was a bit of a mixed bag, wasn't it, for you today? I know you was having trouble earlier on in the earlier race. Did that affect you at all today?
No, not really. The light didn't change that much during the race. I just lost my focus for a minute, and then the car just got away from me.
Yeah. Can I just ask? Obviously, you were just off the pace the guys up front today. What sort of differences in setup? I mean, is there a big difference in tyre pressures or something like that, that really affect your race pace, maybe in the second half of the race or something like that?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say. In the first race, or the earlier one today, we were all pretty equal, and we kind of stayed in a bunch. But I noticed Matt, he seemed to be better later in the run, and I seemed to be better early. So when I started behind him, I knew I was in big trouble, because you can't pass here. It's so tough. So I knew I'd be following him until about halfway, and then his car would start getting better. So I kind of knew I was just in big trouble. I think that's kind of why I lost focus.
Yeah, fair play. I've done it myself plenty of times, Steve. Listen, next week, Sebring, what are your thoughts?
Oh, that's a fun track. That's probably one of the better ones we run. Usually the races there are pretty good. So, I'm looking forward to it.
Any setup advice for anyone like me? I don't know. Did you run softer springs there? I mean, it's a hell of a bumpy track, and I know this car's a nightmare over bumps. Anyway, for me it is. So what sort of stuff do you do?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to lose the rear end. So you want to probably keep the rear end a little soft, or maybe add some wing to the back. But Sebring, is a two-way track. You can go either way. You can kind of, you've got the long straight, the back straight there, so you can trim it out some, or you can add downforce and be fast in the first section. So that's what makes the track so fun.
Yeah, we were just talking to Garnot, and he's a big fan of the place as well. Listen, man, thanks for coming in, and I know it wasn't a result you wanted today, but we'll see you next week, and good luck for next week, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to finish third, no matter what, anyway. So I kind of just finished. It was a lot more fun the way it worked out because I had a nice battle with Nicola there. It's too bad he got the time penalty.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot all about that. Yeah. That was annoying. I was annoyed by that myself. I wanted to see the battle there. Listen, thanks for coming in again, and good luck on the rest of the season. It looks like Justin's going to catch up with Robbo next.
Yes, indeed. Now, once again, thank you very much for the time to Steve Mycroft as we stand by with Rob Olenek. Coming as the biggest mover of the race, +8 from 14 to 6. Rob, how are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. I didn't know I could race this week until about an hour before the race. And it was kind of one of those, I shouldn't be doing this right now. And usually that ends badly, but I don't know. Something happened today where I got to feel as the race is going on, the car was feeling better and better and better. And I think I was figuring spots out where I was losing time, and I got it back and was driving really good. It was a really fun race. I'm really glad I raced.
Why were you in a situation where you might not have raced, if you don't mind us asking?
Oh, simple. My daughter has horseback riding at this time that I got to bring her usually, but my wife didn't end up having to go into work.
Oh.
And normally she was, so I didn't even practice at all week, assuming that I wouldn't be able to make it. And it's really kind of a crap time because the race before this one and this one, it ruins the end of the first one, and then I can't get time to get into this one. So, but
let's talk race cars then. On that point, apologies there for cutting you off for the split second there, but in terms of the car today, you said it got better and better and better. What were you doing as the race progressed to adjust to it? Because we see how you can do in multiple different cars. What were you doing as the race progressed, as you got more comfortable, to keep on picking up pace?
I mean, I didn't do anything to the car in it. I left it as is, but I was noticing that some of the guys earlier in the race were really beating me through the real fast kink. I can't remember the name of it. And so I just was deciding to push it harder, not brake as much, and just go and see what happens. And it was working. And then I think my setup felt great on the really slow hairpins. And I felt like I was making up a bunch of time there through the chicane. That can pretty much end your race. And sometimes coming into this track in different cars, you just don't got it there, and you just don't like coming up to it. And it just was clicking right away. So I felt like I was making good time through there. And it got better through the race. Felt like I could push hard through there. But that was really it. It was just kind of finding the limits of the car, like more and more as I went through the race.
Answered a lot of what many drivers may have been wondering, or many fans wondering. But next race for this car is at Sebring. Your thoughts on going towards the bumpy racetrack where a lot of drivers expect a lot of passing zones?
I've never driven the car at Sebring. I love it at Belle Isle. So I'm guessing I'm probably going to like it a lot. I like almost every car at Sebring. So I'm guessing it'll be a fun race. And I might actually be able to make that one. So I'd be really looking forward to it.
Is there anyone you want to thank before you let you go?
I thank all the Dirty Torque drivers, all the guys in Grand Prix Legends and CTC, you guys. That's it.
Thank you very much for the time, Rob.
Thank you, guys. See you later.
That was Rob Olenek coming home 6th today. Real quickly, make your final thoughts after this exciting race for some of these drivers.
Yeah, it was it was a really good race, wasn't it? All from the front down to the back. I mean, it was just great to watch Gernot really showing off how well you can get this car around here, and just dominated from lap 1, didn't he? And then all the battles that we saw, even with Robbo there, at the end, great to see him coming from right down, and just amazing to see that guy just turn up in any series and just be on the pace like that. So yeah, really, really great racing from a lot of the guys today.
Absolutely. We'd like to thank the Lotus 79 community for what was an exciting race today and their continued support throughout the community. It was a heck of a race today here at Donington Park Racing Circuit. We'd also like to thank the companies that provide our software and hardware for our broadcast, listed up on your screen now. With additional thanks to Julie Wallen, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. Thanks to the team once again in Mick and Amjed. If you'd like to find out more about the Global SimRacing Channel, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. Or you can check out our social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global SimRacing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Don't forget to head over to our YouTube page and hit that big red subscribe button, as well as the notification bell, so you don't miss a moment here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Next race for this series goes to the Sebring International Raceway for the International Circuit. You can catch that action on GSRC on Sunday, January the 5th. Broadcast starts at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We also have plenty of upcoming series listed up on your screen, including the Big C's MX-5 Challenge later this afternoon. That starts off at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Along with that and many more broadcasts you can see on GSRC. Until next time, though, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.